There's a very popular book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's another one, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Leaders, and there's even one, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And I don't know if there's one about the 7 habits of highly effective authors, but that's what I'm going to talk about today. Welcome to the Julia Amante channel. If we're just meeting, I am Julia Amante. I'm a women's fiction author, and I create videos on writing and just having an effective writer life. Okay, so today then, let's focus on those habits. What are those habits of effective writers? And the first one is that effective writers write every day. Now, I've spoken about this before, I've written about this before, so I will not go into huge details, but I will link another video if you want to take a look at that. But writers write every day. If you want to be effective at anything, if you want to do well at anything, you just have to do it all the time, right? So the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you become. So writers that want to be effective write every day, even if it's for a little bit or a little short amount of time. They always find a little bit of time to write so that they're constantly practicing their skills and their craft, right? So that they get to be better writers. The second habit that highly effective authors have is that they make time. Well, I should say that they not make time, but they make writing a priority. It's the first thing that they do. So the most important, another book that Stephen Covey wrote was First Things First, meaning that the most important things are the things that you should do first. So if the first thing that you do, right? So we all do this. We get out of bed, we reach for our phone. I do this a lot, all the time, actually. I have the phone there, or I have it on my charger. So I get out of bed, go to my charger, I get the phone out, I take the dogs for a walk, and then what happens? You're standing outside waiting for the dogs, not for a walk, I'm sorry, just for outside to, do their business. And so what do? I take my phone as I'm waiting for them to do their thing, and I'm just kind of strolling, right? And you click on Facebook, and you click through your emails, and you click through your messages, and then what happens, right? The things that are on your phone start to occupy your mind. Because the very first thing you're doing is you're looking at this. It's like, oh, whoa, my friend found a lost dog and she needs somebody to take this dog. Well, let me just write a quick message and send this out to the world, my friends and my groups that, there's a dog that needs a home. Oh, and oh, shoot, I have to pay this thing. Let me just run upstairs real quick and make this payment. And oh, wow, this is a really cool recipe. Let me just save this recipe and put it on my saved recipes because I may want to cook that delicious cake one day. And before you know it, what's happened is like your 2 hours are gone and you've done nothing but take care of other people's issues and just things that really aren't important. So you've taken care of all these little things that might have to get done eventually, right? So you do have to pay your bill eventually, but they don't have to get done right this second. They can be scheduled for when you have when you finish the most important things that need to get done. So doing the most important things first is key. So let's say you have to go to work. You just wasted those 2 hours that you could have used for something else, doing other stuff before work. And now all of these other things are occupying your mind as you go to work, and you still haven't done the writing that you need to do. And so you go to work, you've got your mind full of other stuff. You go do your job, you come back and you're like, I still have to write. I still haven't done it, right? So that's not the best you're not in the best state to actually sit down and do your writing. Now you're tired, you're stressed, you haven't done it. Now, so if you turn that around, let's say you don't do that, right? Don't reach for that phone. You don't check those messages until much later. You get up, take the dog out, do whatever you need to do. You come back, you sit down, you do your 15, 20 minutes of writing. You feel good because you've done that now. It's off of your, to-do list. Hopefully you can write more later, whatever, but at least you've done some, right? You've done some of the writing first. Then you go down, make your breakfast, whatever, check your messages if you need to. But doing the most important things first clears your mind of that, for me, guilt that I haven't done the writing that I need to do. And then I also heard or watched a video, I can't even remember where, but the message was that if you are always doing other people's things first, right? Or if you are, going to your job and always taking care of that, even though it's not your dream job, but you have your dream of writing here, what's going to happen is you're always making time for somebody else's work, right? Somebody else's job. and business or whatever, but you never make time for your own. What does that say about how you feel about your own writing and your own work? So that kind of really hit me. It's like, well, no, this is the most important thing to me. So why am I giving my precious time to other things before my writing? So do your writing, do your blogging, do whatever it is that you need to do first. And also first, let me just say, it doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. I tend to be a better writer at night, because actually the opposite is for me, right? Is I know that once I get all these other things finished, like I go to work and I teach, which is also important to me, and I get all this done at the end of the day, now I'm finished with all these other things that have to get done, and I can completely focus on my writing. If you are a stronger writer in the evening, that's okay. I have been trying to change my schedule, though, to become more of a morning writer, only because of my teaching schedule. Because I have previously, when I was actually teaching at the university rather than at home, doing, the at-home teaching, I was teaching. I had like a 6 o'clock class. I'd get done at 8. And so by the time I got home, it was 9 o'clock. And then I'd, grab a bite to eat. And it just got to be kind of late. And in the fall, when I do go back to the university, I think I have a class that ends like at 9:45 at night. So definitely by the time I get home, it's going to be kind of late and I am going to be tired. So I'm going to retrain myself to do my writing first thing in the morning. I've actually already started doing that so that I know that it's done, and I'm not getting home at 10:30 at night thinking I still have to get the writing done, right? So first things first means the most effective time for you. If you're a night owl and you write better, you think better at the evening, that's okay. Then do it then. But if you're not, then take care of it first thing in the morning. Don't let your mind get occupied by a lot of other things first. Okay, so the third thing that effective writers do is that they are very, very good planners. They plan for completion of their book, however they do it. So some people do it by time, like I'm going to write, I need to get this done in 6 months' time. So I'm going to make sure that I dedicate this much time to get this done. So I can write, let's say, 10 pages within the 2 or 3 hours. And so I estimate that I'm going to need to write an hour a day, 2 hours a day, whatever, to get it done on time. Other writers can write by pages. They're like, I don't care how long it takes me, but I'm going to write these 10 pages per day. So it might take me 30 minutes, it might take me 3 hours, but I'm going to get those 10 pages done. And they plan it into their books, okay, into their planners. So they plan everything that they're going to do. They plan their writing, they plan their marketing, they plan all of the things that need to get done for the job of writing. And they get that, they put that into a planner. So let me just show you. You might think I'm crazy, but I just love planners. I love to plan things out because it helps me to kind of not worry about it anymore. It's not in my brain. I just have to go look at my planner. It's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So let me just pull and show you just the various planners. So I use all kinds of planners. It doesn't really matter which ones you use. So I've been using the last few years this, it's called the Rituals of Living Dream Book Planner, which is kind of nice because it just helps you to kind of, ask you like, what's your focus for the week? What are your top 3 goals you want to achieve? It just helps you to kind of think that. It also has a habit tracking, so I don't know if you could see it, but a habit tracking thing, so I can track things like, am I getting the exercise I want? What are the habits that I want to maintain? And I can track them. Okay. The one thing that I don't like, and so I'm going to be trying a different planner next year, but is like the weekly planner. So if you look at the kind of the weekly, it's very tiny to write down like what's going to happen that week. And so I kind of like the daily a little bit better because I can work on my, I can really write what I'm going to be planning to do that day. And so this is mostly for writing and sometimes for teaching and appointments and things like that. One of the planners that I noticed that I just kind of recently took a look at was called the High Performance Planner created by Brendan Burchard. And that one does still to me waste a lot of space on these pages because here's your daily, but at least you do get like a full page for your daily and you get to write more. He also has a lot of stuff like just questions. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like it yet. Actually, this is how insane I am, is I already bought my planner for 2023. So these are going to be my 2023 planners, but I wanted to take a look at them and just have them. So I'm ready to go next year. So I'm already ready to go. And I even have this one I bought at the Aldi grocery store. And I noticed that they had like these really cheap planners. And I was like, do I need another planner? Not really, but I'm going to buy another planner because it's so important to plan. So this is called a parent planner. So you can write down the stuff for your kids. Well, my kids are in college. I don't really need to plan anything for them anymore. But I decided to use it for just other things. So like household projects or, the dogs that need to go to the vet or whatever, not keep it with my writing stuff so I can just focus on that. And this becomes sort of my, it has chores, like a chore chart that you would normally give your kids. And it's like, well, I have my own chart. I have my own chores, and I'm going to write them down like what days I have available to do it. So is it crazy? Maybe. Is it over planning? Maybe, but it just helps me to make sure that I get things done. Honestly, the household planner and all of that is at the end. If I don't really get that done, oh well, if I didn't vacuum on Monday at whatever time I said I was going to do it, I don't really freak out about that, because we go back to the other thing, right? The first things first, and making sure that I get the writing, my teaching, and all of that done first. Then I worry about the household stuff, because who's going to really care if, my carpet isn't as clean, or I do my laundry tomorrow instead of the next day, or, plants need to get watered. So some things do have to get done, but those aren't the most important things for me and my writing and my business. Okay. So effective people, not just authors, but effective people, just do that. They plan everything and they make sure that they follow the plan, because the more you write down, the more likely it is that you're going to do it. So when I go through my planner, I check it off at the end of the day. It's like, okay, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? Or did I maybe not schedule things correctly because I thought it was going to take me 2 hours to do a video and edit it, and it actually ended up taking me 3 or 4 hours for whatever reason. So sometimes I miscalculate, right? But at least I know I got it done. And whatever I didn't get done, I can move over, and I know I still need to get it done, and I know it's still a priority. So spending kind of a lot longer on this than I was going to, but I just want you to know that it is important. Like just making sure that you schedule things and plan things so that you can get it done, because it's really easy just to say, yeah, I'm going to write. But if it's not written down, it's not actually like on your schedule as an appointment with yourself to get it done, most likely you're not going to do it, or it's going to be easy not to do it. And if something comes up and it's like, oh yeah, I was going to write, but I didn't do it. Okay, so make sure that you do the planning for that as well. Another thing that effective writers do is that they're really good at balancing their sort of work schedule with their kind of self-care and personal schedule. So if like going to church is important to them, they make time for that, and spirituality. If exercise is important to them, they make time for that. And so they're not completely focused. Like the people that I see get stressed out or even start writing things like on social media about, I've got these mental health issues now, and I'm very anxious, or I'm depressed, or whatever. I've got, I've gained 50 pounds and I feel miserable, are the people that honestly didn't make time to take care of themselves. So they were like writing all these books, which is important, right? But if you're writing 10 books a year and you're not taking care of yourself, what's the point of having those 10 books a year? So you need to make time for all of that as well. So it doesn't have to be a lot. I know people who will just take a few minutes. So they'll maybe work for an hour or two, but then they will just go take a 15-minute walk, or go out and get some sunshine, right? Or do something else rather than just constantly sitting at the computer for hours and hours and hours, and then getting up 8 hours later and having back pain, or gaining weight and doing all, not having feeling good. So it's not worth it. So make time for all the healthy things. So if you're a meditator, you can get into that. I try all the time. It's really hard for me, but I try all the time to do some meditation, even if it's just for a few minutes, because it just kind of helps to center you and just kind of take the worries of the day away. Right. So if you struggle like with depression or anxiety or weight issues or something, just take a little time to try to get away from that and just balance both your own self-care as well as your work, because both are important, right? Okay, and effective people and effective authors also know how to get help. So some super effective authors, right? So best-selling authors have are lucky and they are lucky and they've achieved enough success and are making enough money to be able to hire assistants to help them. If you're in that position, that's awesome, right? So you can hire somebody to do some of the work for you, maybe some of the website stuff or online things, or things that take up time, marketing time, so that you can focus on your writing. If you're not there yet, so I'm not there yet. There's other things too, right? You can get just emotional support, just having a friendship support. Like I belong to a group of Latina women who are awesome, and they're not writers, or some of them are, but not all of them. And it's great because they're all they all have their own business or their own goals that they're reaching for. So it's kind of a networking, but it's also a friendship thing where people support each other, and we can meet once a month and just talk about things and help each other out and just add positivity to our lives, which is really great. So having some kind of outside support outside of your work, right? Or within your work. So having a critique group to help you with, your editing and taking a look at your story. So any kind of support that you can add to helping you. It might even be like, if you can't afford an assistant, but can you afford a gardener? Or can you afford somebody to help you with some of the chores of, life, so that you can focus on work, you can focus on your writing. And it relieves some of the pressure of just all the things that are on your plate to get done, right? So look for that support, because that is important. And the more, help and support and delegation that you do, the more effective you're going to be as a writer. Okay, I think we're on number 6 now. Another effective habit that writers have, is that they never stop learning. They're always learning new things about the industry and about writing. They're always reading new books. Writers that have been writing for years, and they're selling books and they're published, and they're successful, and yet they still go. I see them, right, when we go to conferences, and they're still buying more books on writing. Do they need more books on writing? Probably not. Like I tell myself that all the time. Do I really need this book? Probably not, but there's probably something new or some other author's perspective that can help me with my writing, or to look at something that I already know a little differently. So always learning, always buying new books, going to courses, going to workshops, listening to presentations, free presentations, paid presentations. There's all kinds of stuff out there for us as writers, and we're super lucky, right? I mean, that we have so much available. I didn't have that when I first started writing. There was no YouTube. There weren't so many things. If I really wanted to learn something about writing, I either had to buy a book, or I did go pay, a lot of money to go to a conference or something and hear people speak there. So there's a lot available now that you can listen to, that you can read, that you can look at. And so that's awesome, right? So effective people just continually try to learn new things, or continue to try to hear. It might not always be new, but it's still repetitive, and hearing the same things from different people in new ways sometimes helps you to say, oh, wow, yeah, I really do need to focus on that. Or I hadn't thought of it that way. Or I do need to spend more time writing. Or I do need to plan, right? So hearing things sometimes again or for the first time is super helpful. And effective authors and writers are always trying to learn new things, trying to keep their knowledge fresh and know what's going on in the industry. And number 7 is that effective writers treat writing like a business. So again, I've spoken about this before, but you have to treat this as your business and be serious about it. That's why you do the planning. That's why you do the scheduling of the writing, because you wouldn't, no other business would be successful if you just did it whenever you felt like it, right? It's more of like, I need to be here and I need to do this. And you want to do that for writing as well. And I remember long ago, before I was published, and my husband would write off the expenses for writing. So if I bought a computer, if I went to a conference or whatever, and there came a time, I don't remember when it was, if it was like year 3 or something, and he says, well, I'm not going to be able to deduct this stuff anymore unless you start making some money. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, the IRS will consider it a hobby instead of a business, which really irritated me. I was like, well, how can the IRS decide it's a hobby? It's my job. It's my business. But that's just the way it is. If you're not actually really working it, if you're not, like, how many businesses would stay in business if they were just not making money or losing money all the time, right? They wouldn't. So the IRS looks at it that way. Well, if you're not taking it seriously and you're not making money, then you're not a business. So you have to think of it that way too. If I'm not that you have to make a lot of money, it's not the money, but it's the business, right? So eventually, if you are working it, if you are spending time trying to write your books and sell your books and market your books, and eventually you're going to have some success. You're going to sell something. You might sell an article. You might do something, right? Again, it's not because of the money. Who cares really what the IRS thinks? But if you want to deduct your writing expenses, it is helpful. But that's not why you want to do it. You want to do it because you want to have a successful business. And in order to do that, you want to make sure that you are focusing on it and really treating writing like a job. And it's a fun job. It's a great job, but you have to think of it as a job too, right? I have to make sure that I get this done and that I'm constantly making progress and getting closer to publishing my book, if that's what your goal is. Okay. So the last thing I want to say about habits is that I want to read this. I'm looking at my notes here because I will forget what it was that there's different studies, right, on habits and how long it takes for a habit to become a habit. So some of the things that I've read said, okay, in 21 days, if you do something for 21 days, so you get up every single day for 21 days, you don't look at your phone, you just get up, go straight to your computer and start writing. You do this for 21 days and it becomes a habit. I've heard other, articles and stuff that I've read that says, no, it takes 66 days, which is a long time. But after that, it becomes a habit. You're just used to doing it. You get up every day, you write, then you go out, right? Or my dogs will not wait, so I have to go down, take my dogs out, and I can come back and do my writing. Or I can, whatever. For 66 days, for 100 days, I'm going to do this again and again and again and again until it becomes a habit. I'm going to get up every single day. I'm going to do my blogs, and then I'm going to go take my dogs for a walk, and then I'm going to come back and do this. And I'm going to do the same thing again and again for as much as I can, right? So it doesn't matter if it's 21 days or if it's 66 days, okay? Take 66. Let's say it takes a long time. If you do it over and over and over again, it does start to become a habit, and you will do it no matter what. So for me, I like to go swimming, and my dogs like to go for a walk. So I just alternate. I'll go swimming, I'll take my dogs for a walk. I'll go swimming, I'll take my dogs for a walk. And it's just over and over and over and over again. So I know that I have scheduled my walks, and so I'm kind of balancing my work and my, exercise and health. But I'm also getting, I'm also making sure that I do the work that I need to do for writing. And it becomes sort of habitual, right? So if you keep doing it, then you're going to do it without even thinking or without even like saying, oh, I don't really feel like it. It's like, it doesn't really matter. Like for me, honestly, I sit down and I start writing. So I rarely have writer's block. Actually, I could say I never have writer's block because I know that as soon as I sit down and it's writing time, I just have to start writing. So it might not be good writing. It might be something that I have to rewrite or redo. But it's training my brain and my body that once I'm sitting here and I'm working, then I need to start I need to start producing words. I need to start writing. And you can train yourself with little things too, right? And I think I've spoken about this before too, where you can do little things that tell your brain it's time. So maybe lighting a candle, maybe, putting some soft music on or whatever gets you into that writing mood. But as soon as that you have that, right? So that you have those signals, there goes the music, there goes the candle. It's time to sit down and start writing. So create these little rituals for yourself if you need to, so that your brain realizes, okay, it's time. I get up in the morning, I put on my music, I sit down and I start writing. Okay. So those are, according to me, the 7 habits of highly effective authors. So I hope that this helped you. If it did, please hit that like button and share the video with other people, other writers, even non-writers who may want to know about highly effective habits that could help anybody, right? So if writing is not your thing, then whatever it is, right? If it's art or whatever, or computer design or whatever it is that people like. But if they follow the habits and they, focus on their dream, that they want to, whatever their goal is that they want to achieve, then they will be more successful, more effective at whatever it is they're doing. Thank you for being here with me today. I will see you again next Friday, and I hope you have a wonderful week.